Captain's Log, November 20th, 2025. This is also a supplemental log. It's in and around all the things that we have planned in the past, but we're going to go forward with this. It's Captain's Log, The Nights We Don't Name. This is a little personal, as if my logs aren't very personal already, but this is going to be something that I think many of you can relate to. I wanted to create a log tonight that spoke to my heart and things I'm going through, so you get a better understanding of where I am emotionally when I do these logs. And by the way, when I say emotionally, guys aren't supposed to be overtly emotional, are we? But we're all starting to learn that that's a fallacy. Men are very emotional, especially when it comes to our relationships. We might put on a hard, crusty exterior or show that we don't care or we're not as connected as people like to think we should be. But we really are, and things affect us deeply. And when I say that I have been affected deeply by things that are going on in my life, I will tell you this. When I had to in the hospital they had me rank the top 5 things that were the most important to me. And this is after my leg came off, and I said, number 1, my relationship with my wife. Number 2, my relationship with my kids. Number 3, my ability to create a revenue stream for my family. Number 4, creating stability. Number 5, oh yeah, my leg. So the leg is important, and it's an important change to my life. But there is so much more going on that I have to tend to. So much more that taps my emotional energy. And so this is all about the nights we don't name. And there's a reason, and you'll see it. And I hope that this all makes sense to you as we go along. There are truths that a man or a woman can shoulder in the daylight, that collapse when the night comes down on us. And in the daylight, you can bluff your way through the aches. You can make the coffee. You can crack the joke. You can do the work. Sometimes. Smile across the kitchen table and almost believe everything is fine, but daylight gives you the noise and the motion. And sometimes that's enough to keep the sorrow quiet. Because deep down inside me, there are things that have created a cavern in my chest and in my heart. And I think many of you have been in that same place. But the nights are where nothing stays hidden. I had written a poem, 3 a.m. knows all my secrets. I wrote that a long time ago, and this is true. The nights are where nothing stays hidden, when the house falls still, and the room grows too large, and the hollow behind your ribs begins to throb like a second heartbeat. That is when the truth takes a chair beside you, and it tells you how deeply you're actually hurting. I put on a great bravado and a great front, but I think you've seen by these captain's logs that there's a lot deeper things going on. I am hurting. And it's more than I admit in the daylight, more than I let the world see, more than I've ever hurt in my entire life. I am carrying a sadness that moves with me through every single hour, even the good ones. And even when she laughs with me over coffee, even when I'm talking with clients or buddies, even when the sun is warm on my face, there's a hole in my chest. And every day I carry myself around it, careful not to fall into it. And forgive my voice, it's still a little cloudy from this thing. I'm a man who still loves his wife. Deeply. Fully. And I've heard her truth laid out without malice, without cruelty, but with a blunt honesty that splits a man's heart wide open. She doesn't feel the spark for me anymore. Doesn't feel the pull, doesn't feel the tingle, the electricity, the fire. She wants, as she said, someone her age. I'm 19 years older. She wants to date. She wants to feel something new, something immediate, something she no longer feels with me. And frankly, folks, I can respect her honesty, but I won't pretend it doesn't break something tender in me. Tonight I have to speak this gently and truthfully. Hear my words closely. There is a quiet selfishness in walking away without trying to mend what once mattered. Not the cruel kind of selfishness, not the vindictive kind, but the very human kind. The kind that seeks relief before repair, comfort before courage, escape before effort. We built 20 years together, and sometimes it's hard to understand how a few rough years at the end can eclipse the 2 decades that came before them. But this is human nature, isn't it? We've all experienced this in one way or another. We all want the feeling back. We all want the fire, and when the fire dims, most of us reach for the nearest exit instead of asking whether the name can be fed again, whether the flame can be fed again. I don't accuse her. I don't blame her. But I'm allowed to acknowledge the ache. The ache of being left behind by someone who no longer wants to fight for what we were. And yet, even in this grief, even in this hollowed out sadness, even in this midnight truth, I strive to remain dignified. I remain loving. I remain myself. Because you can't force someone to choose you, but you also can't allow heartbreak to strip you of who you are. Which is what it's been doing to me. There's no desperation here. There's no pleading and begging. There is the understanding that I'm hollowed out. So tonight's log is about this: the courage to stay human while the person you love walks another road. To grieve without bitterness. To love without chains. To stand without collapsing. To hurt without hardening. To walk toward with open hands. To walk forward, always keeping a hand on the door that I hold open. Even when the night feels endless. This isn't triumph. This isn't defeat. This is simply a man facing the night without losing his fire. I can't. So the word is given to you to look at the things that are stripping you of your happiness, that are boring or have borne deep holes in your heart and your chest. And I get all kinds of advice from all kinds of people. And I still have to go by what I know brings me integrity, makes me a better person, makes me who I need to be. You've seen some of my poetry, and I've written one for tonight specifically. It's called What the Gods Witness. A little mythic quality in there. It's addressed to both her and to me. There are things I would say to you if the old gods were listening. The ones who watch from the high places. The ones who know the shape of a man's heart better than he does. I would tell you that there are days when I carry myself well enough to fool the world. When my voice is steady, my laugh lands clear, and the daylight makes it easy to pretend I am whole. But the truth sits deeper. You know that. You always have. Beneath the bright hours, there's a hollow, a quiet wound the size of your absence. I walk around it, over it, through it, but it never goes away. And I don't blame you for that. It's not betrayal, it's not cruelty. It's just your truth rising. Like a tide that you can't resist. You want a spark. You want a fire. You want a man whose age mirrors yours. Whose presence hits you like lightning. Whose kiss feels like certainty. You want what every soul is born wanting. And I want you. Not the echo of who you were, not the memory of what we had. You, as you are, now. Uncertain, searching, honest, restless, burning for something you can't name but you can't deny. The gods have seen this dance before. Two people who love, but one of them has drifted into the future faster than the other can follow. They don't judge it. They witness it, as I do. And if I were to speak directly to you, which I am, I would say this. You may find him, you may not. But I will not become small in the hope that you will turn back. I will not beg, I will not bargain with destiny, and I will not collapse into the shape of your leaving. I love you freely. That is the only love I have worth offering. And if I were to speak to myself, which I must, I would say this. You are stronger than the loneliness pressing under your ribs. Stronger than this hollow that opens when night falls. Stronger than the grief you hide beneath your daylight armor. You're allowed to ache. You're allowed to mourn. You're allowed to want what you lost. But you are not allowed to forget who you are. The gods see you standing. They know the weight you carry. And they whisper this truth into the marrow of your bones. You are not undone. This is not your ending. The fire in you remains. And so, to you, the woman I love in 1,000 quiet ways, and to myself, the man learning to live with open hands, I leave this final vow. Whatever comes next, I will meet it with honor. I will rise without bitterness. I will love without chains. And I will carry the truth of us without letting it break me. The gods are witness. The heart endures. And the road goes on. I have an affirmation for you. I can face the night without losing my fire. My heart can break and still remain honorable. I walk forward with open hands. And I am not undone. The word is given. Stay the course. Until next time.